Hello there! Time to review another yarn. This one is called Bernat Blanket. It is not Bernat Baby Blanket. It is Bernat Blanket. This is for adults. This is the grown-up version. They're both chenille yarns, but Bernat Baby Blanket is much softer. Bernat Blanket is still soft, but it's sturdier. It'll last longer, I think. But I don't know, Bernat Baby Blanket might last forever. Who knows? Okay, let's take a look at Bernat Blanket. This one I have in two different colors. I have Sugar Cookie, which is white or cream, and Caramel, which is a beige, toffee. Ooh, I'm hungry. Anyway, we are going to try to work with both of these yarns, but first let's take a look at the label. So I'm going to get rid of the caramel one and just look at the Sugar Cookie. It is, oh, look at the pretty pattern on there. You can get that pattern on the label, and it calls for 9 balls of this size skein to make that pretty basket weave blanket. Very nice. It's called the Cozy Checkerboard Afghan Knit. I do not know how to say it in Spanish or French, but apparently you can get Spanish or French instructions. And if you don't buy this yarn, you can get the free pattern on the website, yarnspirations.com. And if you do not see the pattern available on the website anymore, just send an email to inquire, INQUIRE, at yarnspirations.com, and they will send you the pattern. Again, it's called Cozy Checkerboard Afghan. And let's see here what we can find out about this yarn. It is a super bulky yarn, really thick. You'll need a size 11 knitting needle, 8mm, and you'll get 8 stitches in 13 rows in a 4-inch square or a 10cm square. To crochet, you need a size L, 11 hook, 8mm, and you'll get 7 single crochets and 8 rows in a 4x4-inch square or 10x10cm. It is machine washable, machine dryable, do not iron, do not dry clean, and do not bleach. Machine washable and dryable. Nice and sturdy. Perfect for making a blanket that you can wash over and over again. Of course, if I were to make a blanket out of this yarn, I would wash it in cold water, just because that's the way I do my hand knits, and I would dry it on the delicate cycle to make it last. It's 100% polyester, and this skein is 5.3 ounces or 150 grams. It's 129 yards or 118 meters. And again, it's called Bernat Blanket, and it's made for making blankets. It would also work for making pillows, and I think that's what I was going to do with it. Hard to find the center of this, and this is a very grippy yarn, so I imagine when I try to do this, it's going to pull out a whole bunch. And I was right. I didn't do too bad, though. Looks like a snake, doesn't it? Pull that out of the way and make sure you don't knot it, and then we're in good shape. Alright, let us try to crochet with it first. This is my 11 hook. I just bought it the other day. Yeah, my L11 hook. Did I say 8mm? Yeah, 8mm. Now this yarn is, if you're really careful, you can pull out the little end strands, but it doesn't happen easily. They're kind of sturdy. It's stuck really good. So I think that you're not going to have to worry about the shedding. I think it's going to stay pretty solid. So that's a good thing to know. It's a pretty sturdy chenille yarn. Very soft and cushy. It's made like a little tube, I believe, how it's constructed. It's just a whole bunch of little strands all coming out from the center. Pardonnez-moi. I have a little cough lately. I think it's my allergies acting up. It chains very easily. So now I'm going to do some single crochets. This yarn is really easy to work with. And you would want to work your stitches tightly so that they don't worm loose. If you've ever seen a chenille hand crocheted or hand knit chenille blanket, you'll know what I mean. How sometimes the sections will worm loose. Looks like little worms that have come loose on your project. So that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I have no idea if I'm doing this right. I don't think I am. I'm doing something wacky here. Oh, this too shall pass. I'm going to pull that tight. Maybe I'll work one more. I completely messed up this one. That's alright. It's just on video forever and ever. So that strand there, somehow I did something weird there. We're just going to ignore that. We're just going to pass it by. The second row is easier. If I were actually making a project with this, I would go back and fix that first section where that funky thing is going on. I'm not going to worry about it now though. This is like a cloud. It's like crocheting with marshmallows. It feels so good. This would be fun to make a blanket with. It'll be really fun for like a beginning knitter. I think they would have a beginning crocheter. I think they would have fun with this yarn because it just feels so good in your hands. I like it. Alright, now I'm going to do some half doubles. It works very quickly. Pardon me. Excusez-moi. Pardonnez-moi. I don't know how you say that in Spanish. Tell me. I want to learn. Tell me how to say excuse me in Spanish. Seems like someone told me once before, but I can't remember right now. Alright. And another way you can say it in French is je m'excuse. There's so many ways in French to say pardon me. I guess they must be offending each other all the time. That was funny. Oh well. Ta-da. Double crochets work easily. Everything works. Unless you do something silly like I just did. Let's try that again. There. Everything works easily with this yarn. I like it. You know, this would be fun to make a hat with, I think. A real fluffy hat would be awesome. Or arm warmers. Or boot toppers. Yeah. All those would work well with this yarn. Alright. So double crochets worked well. Half double crochets worked well. And singles worked well. Except for my crazy loop there at the beginning. And look at that beautiful fabric. It's so fluffy and thick. Oh, gosh, it feels good. Man, I want a blanket out of this now. Man, I would love a blanket out of this. That just feels so good. I love it. It was fun to crochet with. So now I'm going to knit. It unravels well too. Look at that. It's not shedding. It's doing great. I like this yarn. Bernat blanket. Remember it. It's awesome. Okay. Feels good too. I'm going to try to knit with it. Now knitting is where you'll have more danger of the yarn worming loose from your finished project. Because of the way the stitches lie flat, I think they have more of a tendency to worm loose later. So, using my size 11 plastic needles, vintage. It's not really plastic. I think they're not Bakelite, but it's something similar to that. So it's knitting pretty good. I think that crochet might be a little bit easier with this yarn. It's very fluffy and thick and soft, like a good blanket. So there's that. 2, 4, 6, 8 stitches. That's enough to play around with. Let's see how it goes with knitting. It grips this needle. I think this would probably work better with metal needles. It would let the yarn slide. Or very slick bamboo needles. Very slick. Your standard bamboo needles would not work well with this yarn. It would really grip it. Especially if you have just wood needles. That would be awful with this yarn, because this yarn would really grip them. And it would be so hard to work with. But I'm making it work. And just like the baby blanket yarn, this yarn will tire your hands as you knit with it, because you're always having to slide it across the needle, and it takes a lot of work to do that. So you'd want to alternate this yarn with another project with a standard loose feel to it to keep your hands from cramping up if you have arthritis like I do. So that was garter stitch. Yes, looks pretty nice. The fabric is very similar to how it looked crocheted. A fluffy cloud. Let's try some. Oh. Once again, it's a lot of effort to work with this yarn. Knitting, crochet was a lot easier because I didn't have the. Because with knitting, the stitches stay on the needle and they want to stay there. The grips hold of the needle. With crochet, there's nothing for it to hook onto, so it's it just stays there unless you work on it. But I can work it. Work it, baby, work it. Let's do a row of knit. I've been reading too many romance novels lately. Starting to come out in my videos. Oh, that's scary. Let's not go there. So, a row of knits here, and some stockinette, and some garter stitch. There. So you really can't tell the difference much between the stockinette and the garter stitch. So if I were to make a project with this, I might just stick with garter stitch. But I do like the idea of the checkerboard on that blanket. That would be nice. Similar to what I did with the baby blanket yarn to make a basket weave blanket. So now you've seen it knitted and crocheted. I would recommend aluminum needles or metal needles to make it flow a little bit better. Or crochet. So there you go. Bernat blanket. Have fun with it. Bye.